This video is going to be how I used AI to psychologically analyze my personal journal. So this slide represents about 1.5 years of journal entries. And on certain days, as we can see, this was actually several days. I only wrote a paragraph, 1, 2, 3, 4, so it's about 5 paragraphs. Whereas here we see one particular day. So I started out with the date, gave it a name, and then I just kind of wrote. What did I write about? I chose to write about option 1. Midway in my life, I wanted to analyze, certain moments in my past that I felt impacted my life. And for the most part, I just wrote about them as factual as I could, and then reflected on them. As I said, 48 right now, so I've reflected on the past using today's thoughts as they enter my mind. You could also use this approach right here, where you just start writing about your daily activities. You have to make sure that you express your feelings and your thoughts on whatever issue. So if you're going with option 1 or 2, make sure that you are honest and that you make an attempt to, express your feelings, whatever they are in that particular moment. If you've never used chat, you're going to have to go to Chatgpt. You're going to have to create an account. And once you create an account, you are able to put what they call prompts in this particular section. So on this page, and this is the free version here, there are 1, 2, 3. So these are what we would call, chats. I think one is on dieting, one is on budgeting, one is examples in life history. And if you were to open up any of these particular chats, you would see some of the prompts and the responses that were given. Again, if you never use Chatgpt, you're just going to type into this particular window, and then you're going to ask it to do whatever it is that you need it to do. And it's going to give you some responses. I have to say, the more specific you are with these prompts, the more effective it's going to be. And it also considers one of these particular pages or these chats. Once you become familiar with it, it definitely seems to analyze the collective chat. And what I mean by that, let's say it was Monday, and on Monday, I asked it whatever questions on cooking, and I showed up on Wednesday and I asked it some additional questions. It's definitely going to factor this in as well as that. And how I know that is because when I was uploading those journal entries, I uploaded this and it said that the text was too much, which meant there were too many pages, it couldn't analyze them. So I first said analyze these journal entries, and then I added more, and I gave it the prompt, add these journal entries, and then add these journal entries. I kept giving it that prompt, and then I asked it to summarize. Now we could see here, this is what that chat looks like, and I minimized it because a lot of this is personal. So here we see one day, another session, we see 4 sessions, and I asked it to analyze these. These are some of the prompts that I gave it. Analyze this person's life using these journal entries. And then as I added, as I said before, it limited the amount of text I could upload. So let's say this was about 2 pages worth. I gave it the prompt, analyze these. And then I added some more journal entries. And I said, add these entries to your analysis. And then this represented another section. And then I just kind of did that until the entire journal entry was in that chat. And then I asked it to summarize, to analyze the journal entries from a psychological point of view. I have some understanding of psychology history, so I asked it to look at it from the point of view of Sigmund Freud, Carl Jung. If you're not familiar with cognitive behavioral therapy or CBT, I asked it to give me suggestions. So it basically looked at all of my journal entries, and then it gave me some CBT coping mechanisms. Then you could ask it some additional prompts, and again, these are the prompts that go into chat, and it'll just analyze them. It was pretty, I guess, spot on. This is a screenshot of some of the sections. Again, I picked certain information because it's just too personal. Here I looked at my family dynamics, and it, concluded that that was a big part of who I am present day. Talked about the early instability coming from a divorced family and moving around here and there. As far as academic struggles, I definitely struggled in, public education, and I kind of found my way late in life. But it definitely did focus on that. It also, I wrote a little bit about movies and music and the impact it had on my life, and it somehow picked up that I have an open mind and appreciation for different cultures just based on that. And like just one journal entry, I talked about growing up in the 1980s and watching, R-rated horror films and all types of slapstick comedies. And I was a big movie buff, and it kind of picked up on that, I guess, by analyzing my writing and using that as possibly a starting point for that. When I asked it to CBT, and it came up with, I think, 12 strategies, and here's just 4. It says to encourage this person to challenge self-criticism by asking for evidence and considering the alternative perspectives. And whenever I'm looking at any particular issue, I don't tend to look at that issue just separately. If we're looking at, let's just say, a political issue from today, I'm looking at the past and also the future and trying to figure out the impact of this. And that's what it's picking up on. And we could see that where it says that I have a distorted thought pattern. And that distorted thought pattern is a result of me looking at that past and trying to make some predictions about the future. Here it talks about regulating my emotions, and it gives me some techniques right here, talking about deep breathing to manage stress and negative emotions. And for the most part, I would say when I read the replies, again, a lot of it was personal. I did reinforce some of the ideas that I had of why things were going on in my life and how they ended up the way they did. So I would say it definitely gave me some additional insight. And again, here are the prompts that I wind up giving, and you can probably add other people in psychiatry like Carl Jung, Erickson, maybe B.F. Skinner, and you could add additional prompts. I would not, say just kind of use these 6 prompts. As you start reading the prompts from AI, you'll probably start coming up with your own unique prompts, and then you can use those prompts to, ask it additional tasks and, come up with a way to improve your life. And that's it. If you like this video, feel free to like and subscribe. And hopefully you're able to sleep at night knowing that you are at least in a better psychological place than you were before, after the chat give you some more insight into who you are as a human being. That's it.